Lesson 90, 91, 92, 93, and 94. These are new songs with low twos and with string crossing. Number 90 is hooked bowing in 4/4 time. Basically, we're going to do a slur for quarter notes with staccato marking, so they're separated. So this is hooked bowing. Again, a lot of times the hooked bowing, one note is short, one is long, but it doesn't have to be. It just means, I guess, they're both hooked together. So as far as the bow is concerned, you'll notice how most of the bowing-wise, you have a half note on the down and up bow, except when you get to the second to last measure, it's very tricky because you have a quarter, then you have a hooked bowing in between and then a quarter. So when things change, again, make sure that you keep that in mind, that particular measure. The second to last measure of number 90 is where the pattern of where the hooked bows are changes, and that's what's going to be tricky. So this is number 90. You notice how I had to be a little bit more careful with how much and how fast the bow I use in that second to last measure. All right, number 91 is hooked on French folk song. So basically, the French folk song is in 3. We played it previously in one of our lessons. Here we take the first part of French folk song, and because it's in 3 and it's an odd number, we're going to make now hooked bowing up, up, so that the downbeats are always down bow. So it's a down, up, up. Right? And if the down bow has 1 beat and the up bow has 2 beats, we know that the down bow has to be faster and the up bows have to be slower because the distance of the bow doesn't change, but the speed of the bow should. And if you've ever been in the car, you know that the formula for speed is distance over time. So for example, on local roads, the speed limit is 25 miles per hour. So the formula for time is distance. The formula for speed is distance over time. And the reason we really need to be mindful of the speed of the bow is that to make the bowing work, we really have to know which are to be slow, which are to be fast. And if you would like to be a little bit more scientific about it, the distance of the bow doesn't change, but the time, we know the time, which is our tempo, whatever the tempo is. So then we have to kind of calculate what the bow speed should be based on that. All right, so this is hooked on French folk song. We'll start with the low 2 on the E string. We're going to make sure there's forced vibration on open G. That's how we know that we're playing in tune, whether we have tapes or not. The violin tells us when G, D, A, and E have forced vibration. Number 91. Ready, set. And again, you'll notice that I'm very careful with long notes. So at the end, I counted 1, 2, 3, stop. I didn't go 1, 2, 3, right? That cuts the third beat and it makes it too long. It's one of the most common mistakes students make. All right, number 92, oh well, you have string crossing, you have pinkies, you have low twos, you have high twos. So this one, and you have some change in rhythms. So it's a really pretty song that helps us to improve and really get low twos and high twos and string crossing improvements. So you notice what I just did there. I moved up the scale to find my pinky because the first one is a pinky and then it's a low 2. And it's going to be very tricky to find those 2 notes in tune as a beginner or as someone who's just starting out on the journey. So when you start with the pinky and you have a low 2, I would highly recommend just find your notes. Okay, here we go. right, so you notice how we had to go from a high toe in the E string to a low toe on A string. So I made sure to separate a little bit to make sure that we don't get a slide of the second finger. As you get more advanced, you might do something like 1 on A, low 3 on E, low 2 on A. So the way to avoid that pickup of the second finger is to actually use a low 3 where you take a 3 from a third tape and you place it in the place of a high 2. We're going to learn that in book 3, but just know that there is a way to change the finger where you don't have to pick up the 2 from a high on E string to a low 2 on A string by utilizing a low 3 on the E string and then a low 2 on the A string, meaning your 1, 2, and 3 are just going to be squeezed together. All right, next song is Nobody Knows, The Trouble I've Seen, American spiritual song. Very sad, but very beautiful. Now, this song is tricky for a number of reasons. It's on G and D strings. Because A is the highest note, we do not want to cross to the open A and then go back to the G string. So you must use a pinky on the D string, and it starts out with a syncopated rhythm. T-ta, T-ta, T. And you have a dotted quarter in there. All right, so if you were to say the articulated rhythm, it's 1 and 1 and 3 and 1 and 2, 3. Right, T ta, T ta, T T T ta ta. You have some lifts, you have pinkies, you have dotted quarters, you have syncopation, you have pinkies on the D string going to the G string. All right, here's Nobody Knows, The Trouble I've Seen, number 93. We're going to find your 3 on the G string, and we're going to find a pinky. And again, how do I know that my pinky on the D string is in tune? The note is A. I can see the open A vibrating even though I'm not touching with the bow. And this is why it's so important to make sure your fingers are up. If your fingers are flat, or you're squeezing your wrist, or you have bad left hand position, the open A will be covered. So here's our C. Here's our A. 1, 3, 4. But you notice how at the middle of the third line, we have our lift or a retake, but there's no rest. So remember that when you have a lift without a rest, the note before the lift becomes the lift. The note before the lift becomes the lift itself. So this is a lift. Right? So you're not thinking note, stop, lift, play. You're thinking note, lift, play. All right, and then No Time by Triplet Time, written by me, number 94. It basically has low 2s, and then we switch between quarter notes and quarter note triplets. And there is some long slurs here. So when you get to the bottom line, you're going to think slow bow to make sure you have enough bow for those 6 beats. All right, so this is No Time by Triplet Time. And even though it's written in 4/4, I'm going to count this in cut time because I have a lot of triplet quarter notes, and they're a lot easier to just think triplet, triplet. So this is 1, 2, cut time. So you'll notice that as far as bow distribution goes, before the last line, that upper I moved faster to make sure I get to the frog, and then I slowed the bow down to make sure I have enough for those full measure slurs. Thanks for watching. Again, if you find this helpful, please comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next video.